Magix Vegas Pro scripting. So this guy here, I talk about him quite a bit. He's one of the few quality, consistent, good amount of data resources on scripting Magix Vegas Pro. The type of scripting used is pretty common in the sense that the tools that you use, C#, Visual Studio, you don't have to use those, but obviously it's a good idea to use those. And also the way that it interfaces to Magix is a pretty standardized way of doing it, but it's even so, it's challenging to get all of the information you need and such, and his videos are very helpful. As every spell silence. He has a 6-part series. Let's mute that. That's my comment. That he went over doing silence removal based on an idea he had. I didn't know this feature existed in Magix, but he uses that to facilitate. But basically, he offered up the script in a link here in the description. So I've got that. I just wanted to show the video as well as an example. So I'm going to have to modify this to work how I want it to work. It looks like, so he's got the audio tracks here. He runs the script on the selected tracks, but you can see it. That's not how I would personally want it to work. Yeah, so I'll have to figure out a way that I want it to function. Go from there. Put my earbuds in with his implementation here of a silence removal tool. I could expand that. So what I would want to happen, you can see this area's got basically no audio, and then this area here, and he just pulls those out, but he doesn't take into account that they are usually referencing or attached to video above it. So I want to clip out entire sections, and I don't really care about multiple audio tracks. That just doesn't make a ton of sense to mess with that. I care about one audio track, and I want to remove the silence, remove the related video, and then join the clips back together so they're continuous. And that's not how his works. So I'll have to adjust his code. Yeah, so it goes from that to that. Okay, I'll leave that up. This is his functional code, but now I have to figure it out and then turn it into something usable on my end. I have my own scripts that I've been writing, just adding to it as I go. On the top here, this group of functionality, this thing here allows me to place photos based on GoPro footage and try to get the times. Wait, Visual Studio stopped responding for 8 seconds. Disabling extension code made. Sure, I don't know what that is. I mean, I put it in there a while back, but I don't know if I've ever used it. Okay. All right. This one here, this one adds an overlay that I should modify. Wait, yeah, maybe. One of them uses EXIF information, which is better. One of them uses file. I think this one uses the file names, that I have a process to put information in the file names, but I should modify that so it doesn't need to use a file name. It just pulls EXIF, considering I do it in the other one. This thing is a one-click where you've got horizontal photos, vertical photos, or video. Actually just photos. It probably only works on photos. No, it'd probably work on both. And it puts them in different tracks, which is helpful. And then this one just does a crossfade, basically overlapping clips based on a number. It's probably frames. I'm not sure. I don't remember. So next we've got the whole silence removal tool. In this case, I'm probably going to have some type of value, but I have to remember and figure out. Why Visual Studio updated itself, but it feels slower now. What the heck did they do to it? Yeah, good update, guys. Now it's got a... Anyways, this is all the code that he wrote. Oh, wait. No, this is my code. In this file, this is all the code that he wrote, and I pasted it into a class. I don't know what internal means. Internal keyword is an access modifier for types and type members. Only accessible within the same assembly. This was the default when I made a new file here. Let's see what this one is. I just had public. So it's probably some, I don't know when. It's probably some type of best practice thing that people do now. I don't know. I'll leave it for the moment. Change it for just in case. Okay, this is his code. I don't know why he made that public. So generally, you make the actual variables inside a class not public. But this gets a reference to the Vegas object when you're connected to the program. There's a lot of stuff in there, obviously. And he's got a main function in here. He's assigning Vegas. He makes 2 temp files. Using the path class is good. And apparently Vegas itself has a temporary directory. I don't know how I feel about this unless he replaces them if they already exist automatically. Save track status. I don't care too much about this. What he was doing here is that he would either, if a track was muted or unmuted, he would save that information and then reset them, which is fine. But I'm not especially concerned about it right now. So if you do Control EC, whoops, it'll comment everything out that's selected in Visual Studio. I also don't know how I feel about this. He explained it in another tutorial, but basically this GUID, or whatever you call these, unique reference to encoding format, or whatever you want to call them in Vegas, like a specific format and such. He's using the actual value of it, which I guess it won't ever change, I assume. So I could probably just leave it for now. But he arbitrarily picked MP3 because there's a feature in the renderer that gives you audio information. And he didn't know, and I don't know if there is another way to get that information without having to do a render. So that's what he does. So he's got log offset, minimum length. He's got 1,000. Okay, that's interesting. So he's saving the track status by making a gigantic bool array. Okay. Oh, here's another value. The quiet limit double. So this will be, maybe I'll have 3 fields depending. I need to figure out what these do. I did watch his videos and I saw a reference to, there was some like placement things without these values that didn't make a ton of sense. So he added these to fine tune what happens. So I might want these values like selectable in the interface. Recall track status. Don't think I need this. So far my scripting is one huge file. At some point I should probably start splitting stuff up, into the different types of functionality. It's kind of tough to figure out what's going on when I look at it from, I haven't messed with this in a while. Okay. So in this case, I think this should be constructor. So when someone makes this object, they need to pass the Vegas variable. And then we save a reference. I don't even know what to call it. Anyways, find renderers. We save this. Okay. Make the temp files. And then he goes through the tracks. If it's an audio track and it's selected, he unmutes it, makes the temp file render, and he processes the log file that is the thing that helps you figure out where there's silence. He deletes the temp files. Man, I'm just trying to remember some specific types of programming in this. I think it's try catch finally. So we always want to delete the log files. I guess I'll put these in here so we get a message saying what's wrong. Otherwise, if it bombs out here, you're not going to delete the temp files. Actually, what I can do, so these aren't even potentially made. Those don't get made until the render step. Those will probably throw an exception if it doesn't exist. Or a try delete? No, there is not. Yeah, I'll have to change this. Go to definition. There's got a render status. Bool. Why is this public? This shouldn't be. Well, I think he was using it differently than I'm using it. I don't know if this thing can throw errors. Yeah, it doesn't say if it can throw errors. Go to base. So this is a return render status. Like, what is this here? So the problem with not knowing the API is I don't know what this thing is. Let's see. Go to definition. Okay, it's an enumerator. All right, cool. Switch. Yes. Yes, make it. Make it. Can this... I'm surprised there's not a thing to add them. With all the automation and stuff. I don't see any way to add those without having to type them out. All right, come on, just let me flip and... so is this threaded? This is a rendering. I don't know, this is the best way to do this here. I don't know why it wants to do a bracket or curly brace. I don't know if you can do commas here. So it looks like complete is the only success condition. So I can take this out. So we default to failure. What? Why would it do that? Why is it doing that? Am I using the wrong keyword? It's been a while. Flip and return, isn't it? No. Yep. I also don't like... Well, I guess that's fine. Render temp file. Might change the name of that. So another thing I can do... Actually, we only care about the log. So this is like a secondary check. Probably not necessary, but I'll do it anyways. I'm feeling detailed. So the file object, which is part of the .NET framework or whatever, exists. When we do this, it's going to be a Boolean. So just as a secondary, does not exist in this context. Temp file was, okay. Oh, so he said that by default, Magix Vegas adds the underscore loud.txt. So that's what it's always going to be, I guess, which that's a lot of assuming, but there's no way to be more specific about it because it's dependent on Magix programmers, which is actually a group in Wisconsin, and they were in charge of it and making it before Magix bought them, so they're part of Sony. I don't know if they were a part of the original company, but basically he's assuming here, and that's fine. But also, I'm just trying to think of the best, most long-term functional way to do things, which is generally how I do stuff. It takes longer, but in the end, you've got a pretty words today. I'm not thinking too quickly today, but I want it to be robust. So sending the temp file full path, which is fine, I guess. And I guess technically what I could do is go like this and then make the assumption even further in, whatever. Okay, let's do this instead. I don't know if that's even stupider than his way, but no, I don't think I should do this. I should assume that this doesn't change. So I take this. No, I'm going to take it the entire thing. And I'm going to make this function be responsible. Go like this, go like this, go like this. Take that, paste it here. So we're generating the log file path in here instead because it's basing it on here so that it's always going to be the same name. And then we're going to return, I think I can do a comma, string, and then go like that. So we're going to return this and temp log. There we go. Go like this. And once we get to this point, I should be adding comments to love this log. Actually, I can go like this. Oops, and put it here instead. So we render, we make the path that we expect for the log file. We check to see if the render was successful. We check to see if the log file exists. If it exists, we set this to true. We set it to true because we defaulted it to false. That's a general way to do this type of thing because you don't have to change the variables often. If you set it to false to begin with and you say, okay, we're going to assume it's not going to work, but if it does work, we'll change it. Vital. So I'm wondering here if this should be inside a thread because otherwise the interface is going to lock up while maybe it doesn't matter in this case because the render dialog pops up and that takes precedence and you can't do anything with Vegas itself when it's doing that. So it's probably fine, but when you do look at the statuses of the render, there's various. So maybe there's a way to make it more not lock up type of interface, but I'm not sure. There we go. I feel like that's a little bit more of a proper function here. I might change the name though, because this doesn't really mean a whole lot here. I don't know if I should even have that passed to begin with, because I don't think this is used. I could actually delete that in there. Yeah. Or I could even have this pass the actual data. But it's a big file, so it's going to be a lot of stuff in memory. Process log. Yeah, he did the smart thing here. That looks good. So what I'm going to call this is paste this in here. Yeah, I'm gonna. There's no reason to pass that. It's not. Well, yeah, there's no reason because I'm passing the log path from this function. We delete this. Paste this here. And actually, what this could do. I don't like that either. Don't like that. Where are these variables? This doesn't need to be so high up in the stack. It should be in here. So get rid of those. Where is that called? I'm going to have to change that as well. Whoops. Do this. I want this on top. I'm going to change this to that. So success, the path. I need to redo that. And this, like that, and like that, like that, and like that. So I could either pass those back as generate objects. Yeah, that'd probably be better. There is also an out C# parameter. I mean, passing it versus generate it in the calling function. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know which one's better, but there's an out type of parameter that will fill it, even though it's a reference to begin with. It's more of a C# versus, nice search on this real quick, just to see what might be the preferred way to do it. Out is used where your method needs to return multiple values, but I think this is more of a slightly more recent thing, so this might be the preferred way to do it now. Maybe. There's a 6 years ago Reddit. Another thing you can do is make an object and pass the object. I think I'm going to do this again so it's consistent at the very least. Yeah. So it's either going to be null or it's going to be filled with this information. And then I do this. There we go. And then I can check those. Thank you. Kind of. Thank you, kind of. There we go. Get this, put it down here. I'll just do that. There we go. Look at this code, man. It's all logical and stuff. Generate all this log. We return the status of what happened. We return the string of the full path to the log file. We specify renderer because other stuff doesn't need to care about it. We just want this file to happen. We make sure that we have the proper render reference stuff from Vegas. Maker sure. Renderer. So I don't even need to set these here because they're going to be set in this thing. Yeah. And what I should do here, I actually want to change this that we know we'll generate a longest log file, sidecar file. What is this error here? Do that for the moment. Don't need those. Save. We've got more red. Okay. I think there's a feature to scroll bar options. Use a map. There we go. I don't know why that wasn't. I'm pretty sure I had that on. Weird. Maybe it was that add-in that I had. Extensions. Code made. And just remove it. Get out of here. Get. I know it disabled it, but yeah, whatever. What is this? Okay. I think I have to put that there. Wait. Because it needs to be sent regardless. I mean, I can make a empty variable. Yeah. Okay. Whoops. I'll just do this. There we go. Put these like this. Okay. Technically, okay. There we go. So if this doesn't work, it's going to give an empty string, and this will be false. That's good. It's this new. Why has it got a little underline? Object initialization can be simplified. Sure. Oh. Yeah, how about you do that for me? Go. Do it. Where did it go? There it is. Yeah. So when you put them in, man, my brain, curly braces. So you put this thing in curly braces and you can set the parameters of it inside there. That's pretty cool. So I wouldn't say that it's fine. I mean, I don't know if it's really any better per se. Although visually you don't see that args.args.args here, and you get it tabbed, which does like visually make it stand out. So it's fine. Kind of cool. And you can even put comments in there. So that's nice. It's funny though, but because the comma and then the comment, technically the smart type of comment to put in there would probably be the one that is canceled out, but it works. So they designed it to work like this. It's kind of weird. It just looks a little weird when it's a regular comment. This one makes more sense because it's got an ending value to it. Another thing I could do to simplify this, go like that, and then we don't even need this. We just go like this, like that, and put this in here, and like this. Get rid of this. So that simplifies it a nice bit because we're doing the render right here inside the if statement, which I don't know stylistically that's amazing, but it does cut down on lines. So I feel like visually it's easier to understand this because it's blocked up into a group of stuff, and it very clearly is a thing, and then you've got your status check at the ends. So to me it makes sense. This wouldn't really work if you had more than one check, so we'd have to go back to the other type. But in this case, as far as I can tell, that's the only condition we really care about here, because some of them appear to be threaded somehow, but there's no other one that gives you a success condition. And then here we check the file that we want. We generated that. Another thing I could do, so the negative of this is now it was the case either way. I could put this in here. Oh wait, no, put it in here. There we go. At the very least, it's not going to be done until absolutely necessary. Yeah, but if this fails, which it should not fail, but if it does fail, you'll still get this filled with a path, but it's going to be false here. So we delete the MP3 that was rendered out. Actually, we can, wait, there we go. Stop doing that. Put this here. Yeah. I wonder if this, okay, this has a bunch of exceptions. Probably put that into a try catch. Because I don't really care, but it does matter. You always format this. Let's add the good old classic comment style again. Whoops. I don't care. All right. So that's good. What else we got here? I feel like it's easier to read more lines rather than longer lines. So we got a new function. Good. We get the renderer, which I want to change the name of this. Find MP3 renderer. So that's good. I don't know how I feel about this code, but I don't know why he would need to make it this high quality. These empty catches. Where is the track? So my track got selected. He's doing it per track. Process log. What? Why did it do that? Like this. Temp file. Project.length. Temp file. Okay. Render template. So maybe this is the one that's linking the track renderers. It loops through the renderers and it finds these two specific things. I don't think it is. All right. Oh, that's what he's doing, I think. Yeah, I don't know if I like that. So he's muting all but the selected track so that when you render it out, it's MP3, you're only getting that. Maybe that's the way to do it, I guess. Yeah. So this thing, why is he doing this? So it unmutes it, but then he mutes it. But I don't know why he would do that. See, I don't really care. For what I'm doing, I just want the one audio track. And when I'm going to use it, I'm only going to use it with the one audio track. This right here is good because it should be unmuted. Yeah. All right. This should still exist, assuming that. And then we do, no, I can just do this. Duh. Technically, you don't need curly braces here, but I like being consistent when I can. So I do that. This thing can go back in here because we don't need to care. Personally, I don't really care about the mute status here, and I want it to be unmuted, so that's fine. I don't really need to track. At the moment, I don't need to track what is muted and unmuted. Thank you. Like that. Pretty much have to do it this way because of how I'm passing two things back. I kind of doubt there's a way to not, or do it some other way. I doubt it. Unless I use the out parameters, then I'd still need a variable anyways. So what I could do is do one out parameter and one return parameter, but then that starts getting a little iffy. I think this is fine. So now that we dealt with the easier stuff, we go into here. Not here. We go into here. So he reads the entire file into a variable, which honestly is not the best way to do it because it's going to be a big file. But offhand, trying to remember how to do the buffered line reads and stuff. Shoot, I could look through my old code and see if I could find it or just search on it. So basically you open the file and then you read it bits at a time, which might be slower technically, but it's not gonna, computers have a lot of memory these days, so it's probably not an issue. Argument exceptions, file IO exceptions, path too long. So it doesn't have like a out of memory exception or something. Maybe Windows handles it well, who knows. Found quiet start, previous. So this thing here is based on the format. I don't know if he shows it in this video, like the example. I don't think so. But in some of his other videos in this series, he shows an example of what the file looks like. And there's certain things you need to deal with. So this is all of his logic dealing with that file format. And he has a process segment. I'm going to rename this loudness. Generate loudness log. Process loudness log. So save that. So in my case, I want every single thing on the timeline to be split and removed between the silence portions, sections. However, before I add my own functionality, I should try to make this work as is and just make sure it works with all of my changes already. Because this is a little bit more complex. I mean, it's not crazy or anything, but you're kind of compounding things. And the quicker you test, the better. So now that we've got this object class, but it'll be an object when you instantiate it, we're going to add this. I'm going to use his defaults for the moment, so I'm just going to, I guess, a one-click deal is fine. Whoops. What? I think I have it just instantly do its thing, which probably isn't great. So in this case, I'm going to... this doesn't need to... I don't imagine this is a processing intense process, like a huge thing. So I should probably leave it, because you could technically have it in a constructor thing here, and then if you were to need to do things multiple times, you could just have it done once. But I think having it done through this process as it works right now is fine, and it's always going to be current. So if somehow the render is changed while you're using the program, you're not going to have any problems. But if you pulled out the renderers, this is probably like a never going to happen, never can happen situation, but it's like a possibility. Probably never going to happen, never could happen. But if you're checking the renders before every process, I think that's like the most reliable. Oh, what I could do, this basically is like a one-time use deal at the moment, and that's not super logical to do that, but I just want to make sure it works, because you're making a class and then you're running it instantly and then it's done. Then if I were to click the button again and have to do everything over again, which is fine. But yeah, one thing I could do, whoops, did I add that? That's not right. So we want at least one audio track selected. I don't know if I need that, but we'll see. So this just makes sure that there's at least one selected. It kind of duplicates some code here, but it's not like processing intensive code. Oops. Oh, that's not. Okay. All right. Build failed. Why? What? Running low on error list. Where is it? You complaining about this? Please. Stop being stupid. Okay, there's an extra. What? Okay. Let's see what happens. If we got the audio track selected, go into scripts. My script. Well. There must be a catch loop that's not working. I mean, not notifying me of problems. What I can do, let's say right here. Try it again. Function success. False. Render args. What is the temp file? Come on. Show me is it gone? Okay, it's been destroyed. Let's redo that. Let's do that one more time. Come on. So this one didn't get. So if it's not complete, yeah, this is there. That should work or not. So I need to read this, but the problem is the way that I wrote it doesn't. Okay, it's not even hitting that. What? None. Okay. That is not null. What? Oh wait, did I have them? Stop. Oh. Oops. Okay. Yeah. So that should work. I basically didn't do that right. So now we need to build again. Put this in here. Yes. Make sure that's selected. No, it's doing something. Wait. Okay. That's very slow. Why is it so slow? Why does it say an hour? What? Like, how big is this thing? It's a 9-minute. Shouldn't be that slow. This has got to be really big. Well, let's try it on the... Actually, another thing I should do... Well, I can't do it without recompiling. So it was faster. Let me see what this looks like. Bad. No. Shoot. Wait, why is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Fine. That was one mistake. What else? MP3 thing seems slow to render. Should probably do WAV files. But that was one mistake, because I made the path twice in here. Definitely not right. So now there's some weird file structure on my computer in there somewhere. Oh, another thing I want to do here. So if we look in this one, we go like this. No, we go here. Save. All right. Put this back in here. Yes, we'll do that. Just to expedite the process here. I don't know why it's so slow. So this path is escaped, so I can't directly go to it. I did not copy. So it's in... I'm just curious to see what it looks like here. Users, see users, my account, local account, app data. Don't see it in here. Is it hidden? Yeah. Local Vegas Pro, Pudo, 19, temp loud _ There's a lot of junk in here. Here it is. 500 kilobyte. Freaking big. It's lagging notepad. Come on, let me resize it. This is what it made. So there's that thing he takes into account. We've got positions, which is probably frames. Mon. What is mon? Short. Line. It's such a weird... But anyways, this is the thing that he's processing with his code here. But I don't know if it's exactly... Save a copy. All right. Oh. That does not look correct. Yeah. Let's normalize it and see if that makes a difference. Now let's try it. Tools. Also, I don't delete the log file, so I wonder if that's going to mess stuff up because I didn't. Whoops. No, it's still. It's doing something though, because I want it to go like this, and like this, and like this. Probably I'll have to do that, but I don't know, man. Probably not going to delete these because they're weird. All right. So there is some logic here, but also here we've got the offsets, these values he has up here. Let me put 0. Let's do 1 second and -70. And yeah, these things, maybe I should just make the interface for this right now so I don't have to recompile it every change. So we need a double value. We need from frames, log offset from frame. So frames in seconds, like a decimal seconds. Can these be? I think I'm just going to do that as an integer. But for whatever reason, he's using double. I'm not going to have decimals for the moment. Well, they might matter. Numeric up, down, which are the ones I'm using because they're just like simple. I don't know if these things can do decimal. Let me see. Windows.system.forms.numeric decimal places. So, okay, let's say 2. All right, cool. We'll use that there. Set this to 70 decimal places. Nice. Then we need frames, seconds. That was a decimal as well. What am I doing? Frame, seconds. What do you call this? Quiet limit. And this one was seconds. Minimum length. There we go. There's that. This should be int double. All right. So we've passed these values. So I need an int and a double. That's called typecasting. Yeah. All right. Make sure I got this right. Okay. Build. It's not looking good so far, but we'll see. Let me normalize it. Well, actually, I'll leave it as is. We'll try this again. It's also possible it read like the wrong file or something. There might be an issue with leaving the file on there. I don't know if it overwrites it. I'll have to look. Whoops. I didn't shorten it. Cancel. I don't think that's going to work. Yeah. Oopsies. That's an error waiting to happen. Where do I generate that? So I'm going to make sure that it's... I also need this. All right. Let's put that up here. Where is this made? Okay. That's fine. Just in case. Otherwise, I can look at this thing and see what happens. All right. Let me get a sample. Yes, I'll do that much. Try these. Really slow. What? That's very strange. I don't know if it's my parameters or his logic. I have to figure out how it works here. Let's try. Was it negative? Oh, did I? Can I even type negative in here? Oh, I can. Frame offset. Oh, no, I can't. All right. No, stop. Minimum. -1000. Maximum. 1000. Sure. And we set it to -70. Okay. Frame offset. You had it at 10. We'll default to 10. And then you had this at default of 1.5. Increment of not even consistent with my interface here. Some of them have colons, some of them don't. It's all done over different periods of time. Probably shouldn't bother with the colon because it just makes it a little harder to read. Oh well, this one's even weirder. Build. That's probably why it wasn't working because I had 70 instead of -70. All right. Yes. Tools, scripting, run script. Cross my fingers. I think it might work. We'll see. Yeah, that render thing is really slow. Holy crap. Taking its sweet time. There you go. And then that's slow too. I think I need to switch it to something that's not MP3. Maybe a WAV file. Oh. Not great, but that was really bad. Okay, let's try it again. It's less worse. Let's do no frame offset. Let's do 1 second and 60, -60. It's even worse. Let me normalize it. I don't know what, I'd have to look at his thing and see what he thinks the frame offset means. I'll leave those other two. Why though? Why did it do that? This is the worst way to do programming. It's just, let's put that to 1 and leave the 70 this time. At least I have a stream log of what I'm doing. What? None. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Humanity. So I think I would want this removed, which is less than a second. 1. Shoot, I don't remember what I had. Let's do 0, 1. -90, 0, 1. Very strange. Okay, what's the time code here? It's 40, 47, 55. Let's go here. Let me get, shoot, I should not have closed that. That was going to be generated here. And I'll just mark this. No, I want to mark, wait a second. Okay, that's good. Go right there. I want to get a copy of this file. See what it looks like. I don't think this matters at the moment. We'll just run it. We got our path here. I have to go to this. I guess I could delete all the slashes instead. Don't know why they're, why is it doing that? Colon slash slash. All right, I'll just go the slow way here. Slash app data, local Vegas Pro 19. And I find my template open. So this is the, how big is this? 598 kilobytes just for that little portion. Yeah, I think there needs to be some threading when it, like threading and reading the file. Let me save this. 2.7 million frames, but it's like specific instances. So it's a 30 frames a second. I wonder if it's including stuff that I deleted. Calculator. That's how many frames divided by 30. That's 91,800 video seconds divided by 60. 1,530 minutes? That makes no sense. Yeah, I don't know. Well, here's the time. 1 minutes, seconds, and then these are milliseconds. Yeah, so it goes up to a minute here. The huge multi-minute thing's got to be a gigantic file. This is 500. This is almost 600 kilobytes for 1 minute of this data. So if we look at we take this as a reference and we look, might as well let this thing do its thing. We look at here and we want this. This is 13 seconds. So here's some 13-second, but it's very detailed, probably around here. 13.02. So go back to this, all of this stuff here. I don't know what LUFS is a level of, see what the definition is here. It's a loudness scale thing. Loudness units full scale. So we've got mon, we have short, we have intj, and dyn, lu. So I don't know what that means. Let's do another search here, I guess. Oh man, you flipping kidding me. Google Vegas Pro log. What is this called? Loudness log. Vegas Pro. Need help with loudness log. Let's see what this says. So this is the result. Mon short integrated. So mon short integrated and then dyn, which might be dynamic. That doesn't mean anything to me. Let me see what this person is asking. I read everywhere that you need to be around -1, -14, or 16 in loudness for a video. It's way too quiet. YouTube, it's like, if you're close to 0, it's probably fine. I do -1. But that's dB. It's not necessarily LUFS. They're probably different. Otherwise, YouTube will complain and ruin the loudness. So anyways, I found how to generate the loudness log. Not sure how to interpret them. Does this mean the video is good to go? At 38 minutes, this is a part of no dialogue. Music, and it's kind of loud. So do I need to lower the music? Close enough. I think it's -15.42 integrated loudness. Yeah, Curtis Judd's where I learned about LUFS. For more info, check him on YouTube. -1.9 dB. I don't know what that means. Loudness is a PETA to get your head around. Just trying to figure out what these mean. Maybe mon short int loudness meaning mon. Gotta measure your track's loudness in mastering. Everyone wants clean, loud, and polished. Short-term, integrated, dynamic range, average dynamics. So whatever this is gives a little bit more information. I need to write that down somewhere. So basically, I don't know what all this means yet, but this one was -14 almost. This one's almost, -22 or whatever. And when you put those together, you get this thing. And it's the difference between these two approximately. I don't know why it's fixed the number like that. Let me pull up a calculator. So, okay, let me not use negative numbers. Like this one. Yeah, it's not even 9, but apparently it's close enough, I guess. I'm not sure what this does. But like I was saying, to do programming effectively, you have to know every single topic. Not even topic, but every field that you're trying to make a thing in. So if you're tasked with, let's say, this, so you have to understand audio. Or if you're tasked with making a medical application, you have to understand how all that works to make it for the most part. There can be situations where you're doing like very basic stuff, but if you're getting into the weeds of how to make it actually work in the thing that it is, you have to know that field enough to do it. Otherwise, you're just like spinning your wheels. So I'm going to have to look this over, figure out what all this means, take a look at it and understand in my program. I mean, in my example audio that I want to clip, I'm going to say, I want this to be cut here and all, like most of this removed. The problem is this little thing here might be too loud, but I could also consider how long it is. So if it's not long enough and before it was quiet, I remove it. And that would be nice because I don't want this in here. So clip there, delete that. Here, this is probably too short to clip this. This one here, I would want it removed. So I'd say this and this, and then look at the data behind it and try to figure out how to logically decide on that. Same thing for here. This is a problem, this little click. But again, I could look at the length of it and consider that before this happened, it was quiet. So the ideal situation would be to take that out and then only start up around here somewhere. Yeah. So if I'm doing it by hand, this is what I would do. Delete these and then have the auto ripple on. But auto ripple isn't really a thing in the scripting language. You have to manually, as far as I can tell, you have to manually go through the tracks and delete stuff and then move them, which is fine. But auto ripple is this feature down here that automatically does it. Yeah, so I'm going to have to figure out what this means and then modify his code most likely to work how I want, because it doesn't seem to be doing what I would have assumed would work, which is kind of strange because he showed his working, but it's possible he just made it function on his specific audio somehow without necessarily, I'll have to look at his videos again too, understanding what was happening. But it's all this stuff here and the process segment thing. Yeah. Also, like I said, I don't really like this where it loads the entire file into memory, because that's kind of locking up the computer while it does that, probably. It's not threaded. I could thread it or something, probably. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but thing to consider at the very least. I'm going to save some of these searches so I can come back to it. Set this for a second. That probably good. Get rid of this for the moment. It might work. Not totally sure. It looks like the data's there for me to understand or be able to logically split up the stuff. Just have to understand what it's doing or what it means. It's copying a few website links in these searches. Oops, come on. Okay, that site appears to be down. Copy this one. That should be good for now. Wait, yeah, this one is. No, that one was not it. Okay, I've got multiple pages going here. Save that one. Save this thing. This was helpful. So we've got short-term LUFS, integrated, dynamic range, average dynamics. True peak, short-term max, momentary max. Let me look at so we've got dang it, short-term, it's probably this thing. Integrated, it's probably this thing. Dynamic range, probably. I just don't know what this one is. Mom. I was reading it wrong. So it's probably momentary something. It's not a max though. Well, max. Yes, this is louder than this and that. Because more negative means quieter. So this might not be the one I need to care about. Another thing, maybe. Again, I don't understand this yet, but this is only as good as the resolution of these logs. So if we look at here, it's 13.283, and then it goes 13.29, and these are milliseconds. So there's a gap, and the gap is not the same. It's not a consistent step. That's 7. Okay, wait, this is 796. That's 6. This one is 7. 9876. So there is a difference. You could just scroll down here and see if there's, so that one's 6, 25, 5, 6, 7. 6, 7. So it's either 6 or 7 milliseconds between each one. 6, 7, 8, 2, 6, 7. So it's 6, 7, 6, 7. That's weird. I don't know why they would do this. But at least so far, it appears to be consistent. This could be different depending on the source. I'd have to find a bunch of examples and just look at the data. So that's 6 again, 7 again, 7. Oh, 9. So that's 7. This one is 6. Okay. Yeah. Momentary max. Dang it. So the word momentary is once in this there. As a standard integrated in momentary short-term LUFS reading. Let's try chat GPT. Short-term LUFS, integrated LUFS, loudness range. Check that one out. Dynamic range, LU. Whoops. There's probably a Wikipedia. Average dynamics. Where was that? That's in LUs. I don't have an average here. Integrated. But this one doesn't have the... No, it does. Integrated. Momentary max. Short-term integrated. Dynamic range. Let me just put them in the same order too. Short-term. Momentary max. Okay. Assuming this is correct. You never know. Let's see. Momentary... Loudness units full scale. Measurement of loudness. Okay. Momentary max. Definition. Momentary max refers to the highest loudness level measured over very short durations, typically in milliseconds. Provides a snapshot of the loudest point in the audio at a specific moment. Short-term LUFS. Short-term loudness is a average loudness level measured over a short time window. 3 seconds. Provides a more comprehensive view of the loudness variations within a brief time frame. Integrated loudness represents the average loudness of the entire audio file. That does not make sense because where is that? Oh, well, it changes. -15, -14, -40, infinity. Okay, so this might be going up as the time goes on. Okay, yeah, 12, 14. Oh no, -12 is louder than -14. So I don't know why it would go in the opposite direction. But it's an integrated average. So it's an average. Considers the loudness level over the entire duration of the content. Integrated LUFS is often used for overall loudness normalization. So yeah, I can see why it would go both directions. But you could see that it is like slowly going up and down. Because it's an average over the entire thing. So that makes sense. Probably not what I would need. Yeah, so it stopped at -15. Oh, okay. So this is what they were talking about with that YouTube thing. So -15 average LUFS loudness. Okay. Dynamic range is good. Can I save this? What is this? Oh no. Where's the copy button? That's a new... Oh, right here. All right. Dynamic range in LU. Loudness units. What are these called? Loudness units full scale. Loudness units some other scale. Measures the difference between the softest and the loudest parts of an audio signal. It indicates the range of loudness variations within the content. Higher dynamic range means greater contrast. These terms are commonly used in context of loudness normalization programmatically to clip. How would these 4 properties be used to programmatically process an audio track to clip out perceived silent portions of the audio? All right. To programmatically process an audio track, you can use the mentioned loudness properties in combination to identify and remove sections with louder loudness levels. I want to remove silent. Calculate the integrated loudness of the entire track. Determine the range of the audio track. Might define a significant difference. Analyze short-term loudness variations. Let me give them an example. Silent. Dude. I'm going to give it a nice chunk. Position, time, momentary max, short-term loudness. See, the danger here is that this thing can be wrong, but it seemed like at face value, so far it looks pretty good. Yeah, so it got that to programmatically identify and clip out perceived silent portions. You can, no. You can set a threshold for integrated loudness or a combination. So it's suggesting integrated and short-term or a combination. Let's consider using integrated loudness for simplicity. I want high quality. Yeah. So for example, you can consider sections as integrated loudness. Okay. Let me look at the C# one. Audio file. Okay. That didn't really help. Wish it were wider. Let's see. Okay, this is reading a WAV file. I don't really care about, what did I call it? Pause. with a period. Gonna be exact as possible. Pause. SILENCE. There you go. There you go. Okay. Interesting. Let me copy this so I can read it. Maybe Visual Studio Code, or I can use actual Visual Studio. Close it. File. New C#. Just let me. What is going on? Sure. Just let me read this, please. Why is it not? Okay. No. So this is what ChatGPT gave me. This code reads a log file and does something that this code reads a log file, extracts the pause in the integrated LUFS values and identifies silent segments based on the specific threshold. The output shows starting and ending positions of each silent segment. No. Where's my, no, where is it? Where's my flipping code? Did it discard it? Yes. Okay. I don't know what that was. Just let me read this, please. How do I go back? Oh, I can't minimize this. Oh, okay. So this uses the one thing, but ChatGPT suggested I could use both. More sophisticated. Ooh, programming easy mode. Interesting. There's no way of saying this is logically correct or anything like that. I still have to figure out if it, I guess I could paste it into here on the bottom. Let's see what it says. So here's a new one. We've got the integrated threshold adjusts. So it's funny that ChatGPT comments code more than people do. It's funny and nice. Okay. Adjust integrated loudness threshold as needed. So it's set to -15. I've already forgot what these mean, but this one's set to -20. And then removal segments, find silent segments. We've got our file, log file. We've got integrated threshold and short term. So this isn't necessarily going to work like right off the bat because I didn't give it the full file. There's some quirkiness to that file, which the other programmer dealt with, but it's fine, you know. And then they're giving a start and an end point based on the position column. So they do a read all lines as well. Positions, we've got lines.skip 1, select line parse /t to array. So, I mean, I don't really need to care about this per se, because that's just whatever. But the positions, so they're basically pulling the positions column. They're pulling the loudness column integrated, and then the short-term one. And then they make a list of segment, and they made segment as a getter setter 2-variable object. Start and end. Very cool. Okay. They call it segment. Silent segments equals new list. Yeah, so this is a C# list object, and then they're going to fill it as needed. And they have a Boolean variable to decide if they're in a silent segment or not. Starting point of 0. And then this is only as good as the example I gave them of the data, which again wasn't amazing. I don't know what the cap is on how much data you can send it in one go. It's probably much less than 500 kilobytes. So I'm not going to do that. But so some of this logic and stuff, it's hard to define exactly how it's generated. Again, it finds the most likely token, and all of these are tokens. So these are all the most likely tokens based on the past and most recent message that I gave it, and all of its own responses. So giving it the wrong data, like not giving it the full picture, can potentially make this not work as well. So here we got a for loop which goes through the pulled out list of data values, and they're using integrated loudness as the main piece of the for loop. They're checking through them. They compare the short-term loudness to the threshold. If it's not in a silent segment, they turn the thing. If it is, else integrated loudness threshold. Here's the start and end position. We got our positions. Where's the end positions being used? Where is this even filled? Down here. The last segment extends to the end of the file. Okay, it gets filled right here. You do the add positions I-1. It's right here. I mean, it's hard for me to understand the logic like straight off the bat, but it looks good. This could potentially help. And I could further give it more information, restart, and just like, yeah, so that's a potential fix. Example includes short LUFS values in the analysis and checks both integrated and short loudness thresholds to identify silent segments. Adjust the input file path, integrated threshold, and short term as needed. Yeah, Very cool. All right. I don't know why they do this. This change a lot. 9876. 80. I think maybe I want to try giving it a bigger piece of this. But yeah. All right. Yeah, it doesn't know about this. So I would have to let it know that. I think I'm good for now. That's a potential thing to figure out at some point. Close that. All right. This is good. Whoops. Okay. I think I'm done for now. It's late enough. I'm not going to bother messing with any games or anything. But I'm going to head out. See ya.